Is Fox losing money on SmackDown? We'll talk about that in a moment. Plus, the backstage reaction to WWE scrapping a title has been revealed. And yes, you read the title correct. Brock Lesnar wanted to work for Impact Wrestling. We'll get to it. It's all in the wrestling news right now. We'll start with SmackDown flavored news. I genuinely got the vibe that when SmackDown went to Fox, WWE kind of wanted to push the blue brand as the head brand, like the main show. Some concerning figures coming out from WrestleNomics, from the WrestleNomics podcast hosted by Brandon Thurston. He says, will Fox push to renew SmackDown? In a tweet currently on his socials. SmackDown's ad sales almost certainly don't cover the roughly $205 million per year that Fox pays WWE. Even adding in a proportionate value for retransmission fees, SmackDown seems to be a loss leader. Sources have told Morgan Stanley as well the cost per 1,000 viewers of SmackDown is between $0.38 and $0.40, which works out at around $27,000 to run an ad during SmackDown. I think I should put, I think $0.38, $0.40, I think I mean 38 cents and $40.
Yeah.
I've misread that.
38 cents.
38 cents and 38 cents and 38 cents and $40.
So
science and maths and numbers.
So it's a first of all, I can totally see why WWE have wanted to push SmackDown as their main brand. I almost sort of misremembered how lucrative this deal was with Fox. $205 million a year is a big deal. In fact, I remember when they signed that deal, that's when news came out about this is, if there was ever a time that the wrestlers could unionize, it would be now. Because all they need to do is threaten to go on strike during a SmackDown and they'll go, oh, we'll give you what you want. We can't risk losing this deal with SmackDown, with Fox, sorry. But obviously since then everything's kind of changed. But that is kind of worrying news as well. I was chatting to Aiden upstairs and I was like, why in the first place was that deal so lucrative? And Aiden went, well, he was basically saying, wrestling, they see it as a sport, they want to push it as a sport, and sports are very lucrative things. They do better ratings generally than other programs on Fox, and Fox see it as a good thing. But this could change everything. If they're a what is it, a loss leader, then that's, well, everything's up in the air now.
It's one of those where you go, do we keep this brand on our platform because it stops somebody else having it? And also, whilst it may not bring advertisers, it brings eyes and a certain level of notoriety. It also, that's what you kind of weigh it up with.
Yes. And also, from a fan sort of point of view, it also reminds us, I guess, of the stark contrast between casual overall audiences and hardcore audiences like ourselves. Because to many of us, Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn and the Bloodline and everything, that's been the most compelling thing WWE's done in years. It's been like an amazing storyline. And yet, it's not translating to SmackDown having a boost in the ratings, unfortunately, even though I think most of us would agree it certainly deserves to.
That's the thing that I'm quite frustrated by that, because I feel like they're putting on some of their best wrestling product in a while, and we're not seeing any change in numbers. But I think a lot of it with wrestling is a long game. You may have to go through a while before you start to see that return on investment in terms of viewers and eyes and stuff. That might take a little longer. WWE have always said that, quote, we're open for business, pal. And we've heard Nick Khan talking about, away from this deal with Fox, looking at a multitude of other ways that they could host and present WWE television. Because I think in a recent conference call, Nick Khan was citing the fact that Amazon were hosting more sporting events now. And Netflix were looking to get into the world of hosting sports as well. So those are both possible avenues that WWE could go down should they want to do it in that way. Does that mean SmackDown on Netflix? Who knows? At this point, obviously there's a deal with Fox and that won't change, but certainly those numbers will make some people not as enamored with the wrestling product think going forward.
Now that you've said that, if a wrestling promotion could get on Netflix, to be the first wrestling promotion on Netflix,
they've
that
had
could
one.
be an
Lucha Underground was on Netflix.
Oh yeah, but it didn't work out for the best.
No,
but if they could do it again, and anyway,
I think there's some room for that. Let's talk about WWE a little bit more. Fightful Select give us some details about the backstage reaction to the end of the 24/7 title.
They do. They say that the 24/7 title hadn't been featured for quite some time before WWE effectively retired it when Nikki Cross threw it in the bin. The title hadn't changed hands on TV at all for the first 3 months of the new Triple H-led regime, but it had still been used. A WWE source told Fightful Select that the title was almost never mentioned in a creative sense, but allowed for some fun moments for live event shows. The future of the title seemed to be up in the air, and it wasn't something that we heard Triple H ever talk about.
Now, there'll be two things that people are thinking when they hear that story, and yes, you're absolutely right. It didn't get thrown in the bin; it was thrown near the bin.
Sorry, yes.
But also,
sorry,
but also, it's a belt that has potential to bring a bit of fun, to bring a bit of silliness. But it really got stuck in the mud for many months and never lived up to the potential of what it could do.
Yeah.
The irony of a belt that had absolute autonomy and freedom, but was restricted to like 4 people.
Yeah.
On one show.
Yeah.
So, which is the irony of that, which is probably why it was binned off altogether. Maybe Triple H didn't fancy having that sort of albatross hanging around.
I know, and I can understand that.
Which is a shame because, I was from the era of the WWF Hardcore title and how much fun that was.
Yeah.
And so it's a shame that the 24/7 title never really, truly recaptured that spirit as many hoped that it would have done.
Yeah. I agree.
Sasha Banks flavoured news next. She's just finished her first film. She put out a tweet saying, "Just wrapped my first movie in #Boston with 2 S's because she's the boss." Do it.
I don't know if I did it that well.
Give it another go. It's like she's here.
No.
That's it. That'll pull down.
I had a dream. I hadn't made it.
A song to sing.
No. She did tweet that.
Yes, she did tweet that. So Mercedes Varnado teased on her Insta story a little while ago that she had something crazy that was going to be announced at the end of the month, and she was really excited about it. And we all went, "Oh, War Games? Is it Sasha? Was it War Games?" That's her first film. First of many. It
seems like this is one of those instances where we've all been waiting for Sasha or Mercedes to come back to WWE, and every little tease she's done of her many ventures outside of wrestling have been taken by us as like a clue for what she's going to do when she returns to wrestling. But no, it turns out they've all been actually at face value about what she's doing outside of the wrestling, which is great for her. But selfishly, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, we miss her. She's too good. This Friday, a bit of history was made in the world of Impact Wrestling, as for the very first time ever, the Impact Wrestling Digital Media Championship was defended in Newcastle upon Tyne by Joe Hendry. Took place at North Wrestling. Joe, as we revealed exclusively here on Cultaholic, threw down an open challenge to anybody for a match for the Impact Digital Media title at North Wrestling show, Actually It's Darkness, on Friday.
Yes.
It was answered by former NXT UK star Amir Jordan.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Oh, they had a banger.
Did they?
Oh,
fantastic.
they had a banger.
Can we not reveal the result yet?
I mean, I could. You could find it. It's a banger. You probably know how it went. What with it being an Impact title match outside of the canon of Impact Wrestling. But I can tell you that you'll be able to watch it a week tomorrow on IWTV when North Wrestling premieres.
Lovely stuff.
Actually, it's Darkness. I think 7 p.m. Eastern. You better watch it there. I do commentary on that. Which is fun. Tell you who was nearly part of Impact Wrestling.
Who's that?
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, what's this about? Well, I know
Brock Lesnar.
Should I explain what's happened
I think
here?
you should tell us how the chuff Brock Lesnar came to want to work for Impact Wrestling. What a weird time.
Now, this story comes courtesy of Kurt Angle on his own podcast, The Kurt Angle Show, who recapped that, yes, in 2007, Brock Lesnar wanted to work for Impact Wrestling, or at the time, TNA. He said, "Okay, Brock calls me. He's not in WWE. He says, 'Listen, man, can you get me in TNA?' I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but you know what? Brock doesn't care. So he said, 'Hey, what are you making?' I told him what I was making in terms of his money from Impact Wrestling. And he said, 'If you can get me that, I'll come.' I approached TNA and they said, 'No, we're not going to give him that kind of money.' It was amazing because I think TNA at the time were at the top of their budget where they couldn't really give any more money out. I was making a lot of money, Sting was making a good bit of money, and then you had a good bunch of guys on the roster.
And you had 3 guys remortgaging.
Yes. TNA, the Carter family funded it for a long time, and then TNA started making their own money, but it just wasn't enough to bring in another guy for 7 figures a year. I don't think they were capable of doing that. So that's why Brock didn't join, because TNA According to Kurt Angle, TNA were like, we can't have another top earner on the roster.
There was
Brock Lesnar, though. I don't know how true that is, though.
It depends. Like, if you're like, oh, we have got that money put aside for a rainy day, but Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but
there is. I mean,
Joker Sting, Brock Lesnar, like
Joker Sting versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh, that would have been worth it.
Oh, there is a timeline somewhere that has Brock Lesnar just tear through TNA.
Yeah,
that's the only thing as well. Is like with like Brock Lesnar's a name, but he'll wrestle Kurt Angle. He'll wrestle Samoa Joe. Like, who's he gonna? He's not gonna put anyone over in TNA. Let's be honest.
Once Jeff Jarrett beats him with a ton of interference.
It's my world, Brock's. Jeff
Stroke.
Oh my God, triple MA. Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett during his MMA years. Octagon match with Brock Lesnar. Beats him with a clean, beats him with a stroke after 13 guitar shots.
Oh, God.
I'm in the wrong timeline.
My world.
I want to be in that timeline. Fantasy book below. Your favourite Brock Lesnar in TNA bits. Go on, give us 9 of them.
I loved the acclaimed 5-star match between AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Brock Lesnar. No, that was a few years before. But you get the point. Do fantasy book your favourite Brock Lesnar TNA moments below.
And for all the latest wrestling news throughout the day, check out Cultaholic.com. Stay safe and love you, bye.